Hello, my name's Jenna and I'm 40 years old. I'm certainly not the first woman to experience abuse and mistreatment from their in-laws, and I am certainly not going to be the last. My story is one, however, that not a lot of people can say that they can relate to, as the idea or concept of getting their revenge is something that can never happen. Thank God that I was able to do something about my situation, and I share my story to help those who are in a similar position to take action against the abuse they're experiencing. The story all started when my husband said this: I need to tell you something important. What is it, babe? Is everything okay? No, I'm afraid I have some news I need to tell you. I saw my mom and sister do something very awful. What? What is it? I finally believe you. I don't think these women want what's best for you, and I'm so sorry I never believed you. Micah is referring to all the instances in which Gladys and Hannah, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law respectively, disparaged and humiliated me for no apparent reason. Instances include deliberately ruining my outfits for formal occasions, sabotaging my food and drink so that I embarrass myself in front of everyone, and even slandering my good business. All because they're mad that I took their precious little boy away from them. I had told Micah about this time and time again, but he would not listen to me. But for some reason, at this moment, he managed to believe me. Oh, well, what made you finally believe me? Well, I saw this. Micah proceeded to show me some of the security camera footage of our business. Micah and I run a business that sells crocheted paraphernalia, from baby clothes to purses. We sell anything and everything that can be crocheted. Our business was doing quite well for some time, and since it was mainly my idea business, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law never failed to discourage me from pursuing it properly. Are you sure that you want to be part of this business? It's not good. It's going to tank in no time. Especially with your expertise, or the lack thereof. Excuse me? What she's trying to say is that you're not well equipped enough to handle this business. You should just quit while you're ahead and become a simple housewife or working woman. You can't start your own business. You're too dumb for that. Do you see what I mean? These women would always try and refrain me from doing things that made me happy. I think they must have been jealous, because why else would they do something so horrid? My suspicions of them being evil finally came to light when the aforementioned attempts at humiliating me were underway. And even in those moments when I'd cry to my husband, showing him my ruined dress, asking him to taste my sabotage food, and exposing their illegitimate claims about my company, he wouldn't hear it. He had to see it for himself, and then he finally did. The video footage that Micah showed me was truly awful. I didn't know people could stoop this low. In the video, we could see two masked individuals of feminine frames, one seemingly taller and one shorter, trying to vandalize our building. They had spray paint and they were graffitiing our store. Take a closer look. Look at this lady with the necklace. I did as he said and looked closer, and sure enough, that looked to be Gladys's rare and exotic necklace that Micah got her when he was in Fiji. I see what you mean now. Who else could it have been? They look quite similar. I believe you now. I broke down crying. I was angry and hurt because it took him this long to believe in me, but I was also relieved because someone finally saw what I was going through. I didn't want to tell him about this because this was his family. I couldn't exactly slander or sue them for the damages they were doing, but I did want to get my revenge, and I had been pondering on what my revenge would look like for a very long time. Suddenly, Micah was receiving a phone call from Hannah. Speak of the devil, am I right? He answered it, and they talked for a brief time. Once he hung up the phone, he told me, "Okay, so Hannah just told me that Uncle Peter has just gotten back from a long trip, and Mom wanted to have a big family reunion since a lot of people are home for the summer." "Okay, when?" "This weekend." "Are you going to talk to them about what we just saw?" "You know I want to, but I don't know if I can. That's my mother and my sister, you know. But if you want to confront them, I will help you in any way I can." The weekend came, and Micah and I arrived early at Gladys's house to help with preparing for the big feast that was about to ensue. Uncle Peter was everybody's favorite, so for him to be back home after a long time would be something truly special. Once I arrived, I noticed that both Hannah and Gladys's demeanor shifted from their happy and smiley faces that they had on to looks of jealousy and disgust. "Oh, you two came quite early." "Yeah, Mom, we wanted to help out. We know a lot of people are going to be here today." "Oh, aren't you just precious?" "It's our pleasure." Once I chimed in, Hannah and Gladys turned their eyes on me, looking at me as if I stole something of theirs. But they just couldn't prove it just yet. "Oh, Jenna, such a terrible thing for your beautiful business to be vandalized like that. I saw it on the way over here. Just tragic." "Simply awful, yes." Even a 6-year-old could tell that these women were hiding something conniving. Once they said those things, they were unnaturally happy, almost elated whilst expressing their concern. I even noticed them trying to stifle a laugh. But I had to hold my tongue. I didn't want to make a scene just yet. I was determined to enact my revenge at the right moment, so in the meantime I decided to play dumb. Micah followed suit because he didn't want to get his hands dirty. "Oh yes, it's just simply awful. We both wonder who could have done such an awful thing." "Yeah, it was really hurtful to see that happen to something that we worked so hard to actualize." "Yes, but don't worry, the police will get to the bottom of this." "Police? What police? Why, for such a simple crime? I'm sure it was just some stupid teenagers having a little bit of fun. There's really no need to involve the police." "Oh, Hannah, bless your heart for caring so much about these alleged little rascals, but even so, they should be punished for what they had done. After all, it's not like they didn't know what they were doing." "I'm inclined to agree with Hannah. How many stupid things did you do as a teenager? Don't be rash and foolish. Come, let's get everything ready for the party." I could tell that they were sweating. Why try and brush the whole thing off after inquiring so intently about it? Both Micah and I exchanged a knowing look and proceeded to help out with the party. We spent all morning and early afternoon setting everything up, cooking and cleaning. At around 3 p.m., the family members started to arrive for the big reunion. Once we had finished up everything and were lounging around, Micah pulled me to the side and said, "I have something for you. It's a concealed microphone. I want you to wear this." "What? Why? What is it?" "I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough to confront my mother and my sister. I'm sorry I'm not the assertive and dominant man you want me to be, but in a way, I feel like this is better. If you expose them for yourself, then you'll receive all the glory. You've always been stronger than me. Wear this mic and approach them. You never know what you might find, and you can get your justice. I won't stop you." I appreciated Micah's words, and although I wanted him to be a bit more confrontational, I was also grateful for the help he gave me. And with that, I put on the mix, hit record, and walked around to find those two witches. Finally, I found them conversing in the kitchen. They seemed to be in a heated debate of sorts, so before I entered, I waited at the door to hear what they were talking about. "She knows everything, Mom. Did you see the way she looked at us?" "Shut up, Hannah. You're being paranoid. She doesn't know it was us." "I swear to God, Mom, she knows everything." "Okay, calm down. Even if she knows something, what is she going to do? One thing you should know is that Micah loves us, and she loves Micah. If she did find out somehow, she'd tell him, and then Micah would tell her that she's crazy. I mean, that's what's been working for us so far, right?" "What do you mean?" "Remember how we put ink on her dress before her pitch about the crochet business? Or how we put the spoiled milk in her food and drink? She told Micah about it. There was no way that she couldn't have shared her suspicions with him. But because he loves us, he was willing to overlook it. He'll do the same for us now." At that moment, I burst into the room because I was getting irritated with their villainous talks. Although I had been recording the whole ordeal, I was fearful that perhaps because I was far away, the mic hadn't picked up anything. I had to get closer to gather evidence against them and use it for my revenge. Hello, you two. Uncle Peter will be here any minute. Are there more things that need to be done? Geez, Jenna, you startled us. Yes, Jenna, I have a weak heart. Don't do those foolish things again. Apparently not weak enough. What did you just say? Oh, I didn't mean anything of it. Just that for such an aged woman, you do seem to be quite active. Active? How, dear? Well, I could have sworn I saw you. Perhaps it was a dream or something, but I swear I saw you engaging in some rigorous activity recently. You were wearing something black, I believe, and you were also wearing a mask, I think. They stopped what they were doing for a brief moment. Bingo. Yeah, I believe you were doing something quite rigorous. I believe it might have been something quite bad, actually. Just what are you getting at, actually? I think that you know what exactly I'm talking about, sweetheart. Gladys proceeded to close the door so that we could have a quieter discussion. What are you trying to insinuate? Well, I'm not trying to insinuate anything. Okay, well, we don't know what you're talking about, so hush now. I don't know. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think I might have also seen another person with their face covered alongside this other figure, and they were doing something quite criminal. What a shame. I hope you find these criminals. Anyway, Mom, I think we should get going. Not so fast, Hannah. I wouldn't want you to miss this. Miss what? At that moment, I showed them the video footage that Micah showed me. Oh, good. You caught the vandals. Okay, well, now that we know who they are, there's no need to investigate further. Just drop the issue. Honestly, Jenna, you're getting insufferable with this. You're not the only building that has ever gotten vandalized. Yeah, honestly, just get over yourself, Jenna. It's not a big deal. Quite the contrary, ladies. I do believe it is a big deal. You see, I learned something interesting when I discovered this video. Look closer. Both the ladies squinted and zoomed into the phone screen to see what I was talking about, and the look of horror and shock that occurred confirmed all of my doubts. They were the ones who indeed vandalized my precious building. I told you, Mom. Hush, this proves nothing. Who else has this necklace, Gladys? I can't take it any more. Fine, it was us. Hannah, don't you dare say another word. Well, she's caught us, Mom. I don't know what you want from me. Yes, Jenna, we did it. We vandalized your business. But what are you going to do about it? Yeah, Jenna, there's absolutely nothing you can do about this situation. We know that Micah cares more about us than he ever will with you. So even if you do try and do something, he won't do anything to us because he loves us. He indeed loves you guys, and it's also true that he won't do anything. But honey, what makes you think that I won't? Do you think I'm scared of you two? You tried to come for my business. That is my baby. I won't let you get away with it. Gladys and Hannah both reached out as if to snatch the phone from my grasp, but luckily I was quicker than both of them and I managed to get away. Get back here, you stupid little girl. Even if you get this phone, the data has already been backed up, so there's no point in trying to fight me unless you want to accelerate your already weak heart. Don't you dare antagonize my mother. Do you think you're funny? Do you think you're smart? You'll be giving us all the data this instant, or I swear I will. You'll what? Huh? What will you do? I'll hurt you in ways that you never thought were possible. Ooh, I'm so scared. Please don't hurt me. Oh, my goodness. You smart-mouthed little wench. We were scurrying all around the kitchen until I finally managed to open the door. And it's a good thing I did, too, because right on the other side of the door was Micah. Help me. Your mom and sister have gone crazy. I come to tell you that Uncle Peter is here. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Your pathetic wife is trying to accuse us of vandalizing her business, and she's threatening to hurt us. Okay, that is not true. Tell them, Micah. There was silence. Micah looked downtrodden, and he was stuttering and stammering all over the place. I know you're not used to fighting with your mom and your sister, or fighting at all for that matter, but I need you to fight for me, your wife, right now, please. Still, there was silence, and Micah's face fell. My heart sank. You see, darling, Micah will always be on our side and not yours. He loves us more than he loves you. Now, that's not true. I love you all the same. You're all very close to me, and that's why it's so hard to choose. Choose what? Why not choose the truth? We both know it. You're the one who showed me the footage in the first place. What? Micah? Why would you do that? Because it's my business too. And what you guys did was terrible. Not just this thing, but all the other times you've antagonized my wife as well. You guys need to stop. Please. We'll forgive you. Speak for yourself. I'm still pressing charges. Not on my watch. At that moment, Uncle Peter, our venerated guest of honor, decided to stumble into the area. He seemed happy but also concerned because we were all here whilst everyone else was waiting for the festivities to begin. Oh, Peter, my love, it's so good to see you. You look well. Yes, we'll begin the festivities momentarily. Let me escort you to your special seat. Tell me all about the trip. We aren't finished with you, Jenna. If you try anything, I swear on Daddy's grave that we'll make sure Micah divorces you. Why do you treat Micah like a child? He is a grown man, capable of making his own decisions. He wouldn't divorce me just because you said so, right, babe? You see, he's hesitating, meaning he doesn't care about you the way that you thought he did. Really, Micah? Really? He just dropped his head down for the second time in 5 minutes. I really did date a wuss. I angrily stomped away and went to the grand dining table that was housing about 30 people. I took my seat, seething, but still trying to ensure that I kept my composure. Not long afterward, Micah and Hannah joined, and I kept silent, even though Micah was looking at me like he wanted to say something. But he simply couldn't because of how mad I was at him. Soon after, Gladys and Uncle Peter came in, and we all celebrated. The festivities began, despite the very uncomfortable fight that happened shortly before the event. Whilst we were eating, the rage just bubbled inside of me, and I said, "Attention, everyone, I have an important announcement to make. There are 2 individuals here who have always hated me, who conspired to make my life a living hell. Some of you might know who I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, let me convince you." I began to play the recording from the argument earlier. I played the whole thing in its fullness, and everyone was gasping and shocked at what they were hearing. Hannah and Gladys appeared to be too frozen in their seats to do anything, but all the while they were berating me, lying and saying I made it all up for attention. The dinner was becoming a mess. I was shouting at Gladys and Hannah. They were shouting back, and the rest of the adults at the table were trying to gather more information. Micah, as usual, stayed silent. That was until he heard sirens, and everyone went quiet. The police were coming, and they seemed to be coming to this house. "What have you done, you wench?" "I will kill you." "I didn't do anything." "I did. I'm the one who called them, Mom. Hannah, you 2 need to be punished for what you've done. I called the police on you, and they have a warrant for your arrest because I secretly recorded the recording that Jenna played back for all of you. You guys, we've all seen the way that Mom and Hannah treat Jenna, but none of us said anything, especially me, because this is my wife, and from now on, I will be on her side, because she's proven to be the correct one. Mom, Hannah, please don't make this harder than it needs to be." At that moment, the police made their way into the house and proceeded to arrest Gladys, who was cursing and yelling all the while. Hannah, on the other hand, did her best to run away from the police, but to no avail, obviously, and she was caught. Both the women were humiliated as they were being dragged out of the house. They made eye contact with me, calling me a demon, and they made eye contact with Micah, calling him a betrayer. The night was resumed after they left, and although it was a bit awkward, we all began to share how Hannah and Gladys were toxic. Even Uncle Peter chimed in and said he'd rather be in prison than be around those two. We all laughed and proceeded to have the greatest family reunion ever without those two toxic witches who were my in-laws. They spent the night in jail, thinking over what they had done. Throughout the night, various family members were receiving calls from the local jail, and knowing that it was Hannah and Gladys calling, some family members answered and told them that they needed to spend some time in jail to learn a lesson. Others answered but pretended that the network wasn't working. But the majority of the family members simply refused to even accept the calls. It goes without saying that Micah and my relationship improved tremendously after he helped me out by calling the police. As for Gladys and Hannah, they're out of jail but have been forced to pay a fine for the damages, which was another blow to their ego. And now, whenever we see each other, those looks of jealousy and disgust that they used to often wear on their faces have changed to shame and fear, which I prefer. Revenge has never been sweeter.